Oh, hi.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Sam has no pants on. I just feel like that's really important information. It's the actual Zoom. It's like
Oh yeah.
Zoom bingo, right? Like
Yes.
who's actually wearing pants, who's not.
Don't worry, there is a blanket.
That's funny. So it's been I I think I think it's been close to 14 days, something like that, since the last check-in. So what's happened in those 14 days? What's going on?
Yeah, it feels like a lot. It kind of feels like sometimes there's a lot of waiting or pieces that need to come together, and then sometimes it's like
Yeah.
lots of things kind of fall into place at the same time. Um, I mean, I don't know if we want to work from last time to now, but just what's top of mind is what happened today. So maybe we
Hmm.
start there and work backwards. Because today since we got to the land, we've been chipping away at going through the old stables that are on site.
When you say going through, you mean tearing down?
Yeah, but there's lots of stuff inside. Like it's as if Frank never threw anything out.
Right.
And so there's so much stuff to go through and sort through, and what could be repurposed and what really needs to be thrown out. And today I was saying it feels like, I mean, I'll always say the whole world is our garden. So it's not even just what's on your land or in your backyard. That's important. So where we send all of our garbage is also, it's like, that's still
Mm.
our garden. But at the same time, it feels like there's something really nice about going through and cleaning up, because it's there's just stuff everywhere, and it feels like caring for the land to even do that task of, okay, what can we put to good use, and even also just caring for the materials that went into the stables, because it's either going to fall down or it could be repurposed. So today we were moving a lot into a bin that unfortunately has to go to the dump. Trying to save some things, like, oh, could this be used as art? Could this be used as you know, an interesting artifact? Um, could this be used in a building project? And so some of the wood materials from the uh, the stables did make it into a garbage enclosure, which we started working on together, but then Sam took over and woof, just like saw it through to completion and built. You might, I mean, even though we're not going on a shore, like you might be able to see it at this window.
Whoa, yeah.
So not quite done. We're still gonna cut like a curve in the top part.
Hmm.
But yeah, all of that, literally
Wow.
everything but the screws was from the stable. So it's kind of nice to see that have a new life.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
we reused the wood, and the lid is made from the metal roof that was on the stable. And what we found today was a couple of hinges that Nick is hoping to repurpose for it, and an old handle which is in goodish condition.
Yeah,
And
rusty but good.
yeah, so yeah, if those end up working, then yeah, literally the whole bin was just built from recycled
Yeah.
material, which is really fun and rewarding,
Mhm.
I
especially
can
since I
imagine.
never built anything, so that was really fun.
That looks awesome.
Well, he said he never built anything, but a few days before that, he did build the enclosure for the compost,
Amazing.
because
Yeah.
we need it enclosed for animal management.
Mhm.
Yeah, and Sam put all of that together as well.
Yeah, there's just so much wood, and it's like good quality wood
Yeah.
that you can probably never find
No.
nowadays or when you buy things. So yeah,
It feels nicer to practice with it because we didn't pay for
yeah.
it.
it's
okay
lower
to,
stakes.
yeah. More okay to make mistakes. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been a few hot days. A nice little leisure activity we've been doing has been just hopping down in the river. It's just a
During
step throw away.
during the high noon hottest hours.
We tend to go more towards the end of the like late afternoon or early evening before
Nice.
dinner to wash off.
Yeah.
And it's
Smart.
really nice. It's like
Oh, yeah.
it's a nice temperature when it's really hot out. It's a really, really refreshing temperature. And it's
Definitely.
playful and it's fun, joyful. So yeah.
That's great. What about the day before yesterday? What else
So,
has been going on?
um, yeah, that was a big day. The screw piles came,
Mhm.
Okay.
and
Do people know what the screw piles are for, or what they are? I don't know if
So
we
they're
talked about
some people call them screw piles, helical piles. It's basically a post that gets drilled into the ground. And it's huge. Like when they came, I didn't realize they brought 12 of them. And this is
How
what the
big?
drawing says it needs. But it's like, I mean, the diameter of the pipe, I guess, is about this big, but then the screw component is like it's quite large. Can we see those at the window?
Yeah.
They're behind the
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, and they go deep, and they also brought extensions as well. So apparently, screw piles have to meet a certain torque for it to work. So then, if they don't quite reach it, then they have to add that extension. So
Mm.
thankfully for us, most of them were fine, all except one, which is just a little bit lower, but it's apparently is fine if you just put a block on it,
Okay.
because otherwise it's all very secure, especially since there's so many.
Hmm.
So that took them about 2 days to do it. The measurement needs to be really precise, which was interesting, and it was really fun to watch their process because
because they know what they're doing.
they know what they're doing and we don't.
Who's they?
The contractors.
So AKL Landscaping, Adam and his team,
Mhm.
they came and we did do the measurement of the outside corner. So we didn't measure the location of all 12. But we measured the outside corners and then we squared it up because all of the lengths can be right, but it can be kind of crooked still, like not a box or not a
Not a perfect
rectangle,
square,
but yeah. So we did all of that. We used our own little method to try to make it square. It was square. He checked it. He was like, yeah, you did well. He did something different,
Mm.
like basically tied a string past the outside corners in order to square things up, which we observed that method, and like I can see how that's helpful, and now we know kind of next time how to do
Mhm.
that piece, so we're learning.
Yeah, if you remember the Pythagorean theorem
Mm.
from junior high,
I was
that's
gonna ask.
that they use.
Yeah,
They do that perfect right angle triangle with their numbers and whatever, and yeah, and that's
it
how
worked.
they starts. Yeah, and then
Wow.
it just turns out perfect. It's like
Mhm.
art, applied mathematics, I tell you.
Mhm.
Never thought I would ever use it, and
Mhm.
here it is.
It is useful.
And do you remember SOHCAHTOA?
Yes.
We have to use that formula for building the frame for the solar panels,
Wow.
because we were like, okay, we know the angle, of the angle of the solar panels, and we have like the solar panel sheet, which is going to be the hypotenuse. So fill in the blanks for the other two sides. What length do they need to be? I'm like, how do you do that? Oh God, trigonometry.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Well, it's good to know it comes in handy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the screw piles are for the bunkies.
Yeah.
Nice. That's so
So
great.
just a bunkie.
A
So we
bunkie.
just had one, and we're trying to take the shed or stables down sooner rather than later to get the road further back into the property for another location for another bunkie. So those screw piles haven't gone in yet.
Hmm. That's
Yeah.
great.
So we're just gonna start with the rockwood in the front here.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so that'll be really exciting. And then, yeah, we felt like rather than rushing into the other two and choosing a placement, maybe it's best to just start with one. And also, we met another neighbor. His name's Jody. He's gonna help us clear out some trees, possibly
Where's
next week.
where's Jody located?
Just in Marguerite as well, just down the road.
Okay.
And he works in the woods. Like there's actually a couple neighbors that do and do this. Like they know what they're doing,
Mm.
and seeing what we need done. Oh yeah, I can do that in less than a day.
In less than an hour or so.
Less than a day.
Yeah. Oh, he said like a couple of hours.
Okay.
Because he usually clears like hectares in the
Mhm.
mountains, like as his job. So this is child's play.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's really great to hire professionals, because when we look at it, we feel overwhelmed, and it would probably take us a week or something to clear out all those trees.
Hmm.
And there's lots we need to do. We have more things to do than we have time.
Yeah.
Right.
And so when he came and he saw the screw piles, he said, seems like a lot for what we're building. You can probably build a mansion on it. So that just got us into thinking, what we should do for the other ones if this is a lot, and
Yeah.
that it's still secure enough.
Is there someone who can guide you through that?
Well,
Or
I mean, the drawings that we gave and the reason these were recommended is based on engineering, but it's engineering for the design of this foundation is if you're doing sonotubes, so like cardboard tubes that get filled with concrete, and screw piles are, from my understanding, they're more foundational, more secure than sonotubes. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna ask Bunky Life too if because they probably have lots of clients looking into screw piles. So just hear if they are considering doing engineering or recommended foundation drawings specifically for screw piles. The Haven Bunky, which is the one with the loft, the recommendation is only 6, so it's definitely more affordable even if we went screw piles with that one.
Mhm.
And then if we want it to be a little bit more movable, or if we're kind of unsure about the location, we can always even do on a pad, like a gravel pad with patio blocks and then deck blocks. That will work. It will move, it will shift in a way that the screw piles will not.
Mhm.
But I mean, there's trade-offs, because potentially like doing it that way allows you like a little bit more freedom to move it to another location. It's definitely more affordable, more DIY, more work to level it. This
Mhm.
isn't leveled out here, and that's like leveling is a lot of work. So there's trade-offs.
Right. That makes so much sense. Yeah. What else happened?
A lot, eh?
Yeah.
So we bought a gazebo. We have that mostly built. We're missing one piece, and hopefully coming soon. We bought a composting toilet for the trailer because we're tired of using water. Right now, we we drive to the Dancing Goats, because we don't want to use our toilet here. We just don't want to jump and waste water.
Right.
don't realize how fast those tanks fill up when you're in a trailer.
Mhm.
So we got an Ogo toilet.
Yeah.
Um,
So this works by, it's a composting toilet. It separates. There's a lot of separating toilets. And just the advantage with separation is huge, because that it basically it makes it so it's not, you're not dealing with raw sewage.
Mhm.
You're dealing with the waste, which can be composted, and you're dealing with the urine or liquids.
Mhm.
Solids and the liquids is how they talk about it to sound nicer.
Yeah.
But yeah, the liquids can be kind of more easily disposed of. And then the solids, there's a container that kind of spins it around with cocoa coir in it. So that does some of the work. And then it needs to sit for a year before it can be utilized as humanure.
Yeah. Are you
So
using like the Humanure handbook or anything for um, the composting guidelines?
I haven't, I'm like, do I have that resource? I know we have stuff on it through Verge,
Mm.
the online, through Verge Permaculture. So we have an online, well, we're a member of their
Mhm.
community. So we're kind of involved in some regular calls, and well, it's super useful to use that community as a resource to understand a lot of things better.
Yeah.
And you listen to a podcast from Verge
mhm.
on this topic.
Yeah.
And I think we have a few other resources online. That particular handbook, I'm not sure if we have it or not, but it sounds so familiar. So
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
I thought we had talked about it. That was the only reason I brought it up. Nice. So
Yeah.
where have you where do you where is the composting toilet?
The toilet itself will be in the trailer.
Nice.
It's in the truck right now, but
Do you take it out of do you take the toilet that's in the trailer currently? Like will
Yeah.
you replace it? Okay.
So it would just be capped. But it's more of a long-term solution for anyone who stays here too.
Right.
Just we won't be using the Blackwater tank at all, period.
Mhm.
There are some ways, like I've watched tons of videos on this now, and there's sometimes people will tie the tanks together, the gray and black water, so then you just have more capacity, which is kind of a nice bonus. But yeah, for now we're just kind of capping it and leaving it. If we sell the trailer, someone else might want to use the Blackwater tank. I don't see why, but anyway, people have their preferences. Much rather a composting toilet now after dealing with that tank.
Mhm.
So yeah, it will go in here. That was sounded more DIY than I think it is, because there's some wiring, just the location of the toilet and the location of the plug makes wiring a bit tricky, and then venting as well isn't as DIY as I thought.
Mm.
Or at least it would be a bit more of a challenge. So we're looking at seeing if somebody can come help with that. If not, maybe we'll learn,
Mhm.
but just prioritizing some other tasks too.
Yeah.
And then we will have the incineration toilet as as the toilet for the bunkies in the future.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. And where's the gazebo? That feels like a new addition too to the structures on the land.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just right behind us right now.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just nice to have a little bit of extra living space and outdoor space so we don't have to be in the trailer all the time. And it's also been a really great spot just to um store things and use as a workshop on rainier days.
Mhm.
Oh, that's a really good idea. Can we see it out the back, like the window behind you?
No,
Oh, okay. So
I can't see
I was thinking maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
it
close.
doesn't have a roof yet because there were some parts missing. So
Oh,
we just put a tarp over the roof.
nice.
I mean,
Really
I
nice.
can throw out this door. You can see it.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's so cool. Wow, the tarp on the top looks pretty solid.
Yeah, I tied it down.
Nice.
So it keeps maybe a half or maybe 3/4 dry.
Nice. That's so great. How has the weather been and how has it been like working out sort of in the elements? You do have like you have shelter where you can not be exposed to the elements, but how is it sort of being immersed in the elements?
Um, yeah, the weather here is really, it fluctuates quite a bit. Like there's a lot of cloudy days and then some really hot and humid sunny days. Um, and some foggy days. Yeah, and then it's, yeah, I think it's the humidity that's like really different for me from Calgary. So it's just like feels like you're heating up from the inside. Just like just takes, it feels like it takes longer to cool down to me. Not
Mm,
sure if that's,
interesting.
what you're supposed to feel, which is why jumping in the river has been really nice. Um, it feels like it's been less windy here than compared to Calgary.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
Calgary, it has been very windy, especially with the tornadoes.
Yeah, so no tornadoes here, no hail, no thunderstorms.
Do you miss
Um,
it? Do you miss the thunderstorms?
for the sake of gardening, no.
That's fair. Yeah.
Um, but for the ambiance, I like it. I like being inside and listening to it.
Nice.
Yeah,
If I didn't have a garden.
Alberta
Mhm.
has storms for sure.
Yes, that is true. We've just had so many lately. That's the only reason I ask.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
other
but
things.
speaking of gardens, I did plant a garden right
Oh,
after they um finished building that road. There was this nice little part by the brook that was conveniently dug up. So we bought some compost that day and I planted a little food forest to start.
what did you plant?
A cherry tree, a blackberry plant, red currants, bunch of perennial herbs and a bunch of perennial flowers. Catmint, all the
Classic.
classics, echinacea, veronica.
Nice.
Um, yeah,
Little
and
little medicine garden.
yeah, and a valerian. Yep.
Valerian. Wow.
Yeah, we bought that from a local farmer too. They said it spreads like crazy and it grows really well here, so we're really excited for that.
That's very exciting. Yeah, you only need one blackberry plant too for it to.
Oh yeah, I planted it far away, so hopefully it spreads towards the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the plants, it's so green here now.
Mm.
And whatever that very abundant plant here, I think it's goldenrod. It's as tall as I am now.
Hmm.
Um, yeah.
I
So,
don't know
oh,
anything about goldenrod. Yeah, go
neither do
ahead.
I. Oh, and we met. We did some networking. We met with a local permie. Grandmother Birch is their handle. Her name is Ruth, and she's very active in the permaculture community. Um,
Ruth.
and so we met her and her partner Janice. They invited us for dinner at their place close to Mabu. And yeah, we got to kind of tour their permaculture garden and get to know who they are. And yeah, it was really sweet.
Fabulous.
And their
And hung out with their goats and
Aw,
their dog.
ducks and their dog. Yes, I did like
goats and ducks and dog.
the dog.
That's amazing. Did you learn anything from them?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Wealth of knowledge, and it was just lovely. Like, so there's a lot, and we saw their pond, and we chatted lots about plants and growing in Cape Breton and living in Cape Breton, and yeah, then it was just nice to connect with, other queer folks, and yeah, it was great.
Hmm.
That sounds amazing. That's so nice. It sounds like there's some like just like growing relationships. That's very cool. Anything else that's gone on in the last couple of weeks?
I think that pretty much covers it.
Nice. So then what's coming up for you? What's in the near future?
Yeah. Yep. It's a
Feels
busy
like
week.
lots.
The to-do list is like, yep, constant for this week.
The priority is cleaning up actually, we made a significant dent in that today to clean up the stables and to demolish the other side. So we have one side done. So it's the other side now. The shipping container comes tomorrow, and we can store the good wood in there, which is nice. And there's some other things that we really need that storage space. So we're pumped about that arriving and being able to kind of get things settled in there. And I have some stuff stored at or like we brought over, well, like a bunch of boxes of things to I guess my uncle's house. So we have that to pick up and bring over for the shipping container. Yeah. Lots.
Yeah, we have to potentially demolish the other side of the shed.
Yeah, so
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I guess that was the one thing that we did since the last time we spoke to was we demolished one half of it
Yeah, that's huge.
fully, and that was exciting. Let's see. Jody will be coming to clear
Right.
out the trees,
yeah.
and then we're gonna coordinate for Ralph to come and maybe pick up the hawthorns. And yeah, whatever else. It's just primarily the hawthorns. They're just so pokey. They do seem to have a bad rep for the people that live here. It punctures tires.
Wow.
They're that strong. So that can be a metaphor for something about Hawthorne Eco Retreat. And we're gonna try to get possibly the trailer getting some maintenance done with the trailer while we're away as well, if they have time. And we want to finish the gazebo, finish the trash bin, and yeah, we're coming back to Calgary in less than a week, so that sounds very high reaching.
You're
But
coming early.
Well, we leave next Monday to go to Dartmouth first, and then we fly out of Dartmouth to Calgary on Wednesday, I think it is. So
Nice.
we'll be there Monday and Tuesday night in Dartmouth, and then in Calgary for I think like 5 days total. So
Okay.
coming for a wedding, important wedding. But yeah, we have a few other days, which they're all like mostly full now. Like it's gonna be a pretty jam-packed short trip back, but it'll be nice to see the house, the garden, and the people.
Mhm.
you,
Yeah, that's lovely. Not the
um,
virtual me.
that's right, the real you.
Fleshy.
Yeah, I miss hugs.
Aw.
So the bunkie will arrive here on the 21st, so we won't
Okay.
be here when it arrives.
Will that
And
be an issue or will it go straight into the shipping
We
container?
say we tell them where to drop it, and
yeah,
we don't need.
yeah, and then we'll need the foundation built on the helical piles before we
Right.
can start building in the bunkies, and I think that will be the primary focus when we come back after we do kind of a little reset back in Calgary.
Mhm.
Yeah, because when we get back here, then we really don't have much time before I have to get back. We might come back at different times. We're not sure yet.
Mhm.
Um, but a lot. So we have a lot this week, but then when we go to Calgary and we come back here, there's going to be a lot again between then and the end of the summer.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's going to go by so fast.
Yeah, it's getting real and
Yeah,
it's
very.
getting exciting and anxiety provoking.
Yeah, because you want everything to fall into place just right, and it never does.
Mhm. There's always that error, that margin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's all the updates we have so far, but I'm sure in our next episode we will have a lot more.
Yeah. That'll be so much, and such a synthesis of all of the things kind of like coming together, which is so cool. So what have you been learning from the land? What are some of the things that you've really, now that you're, really being there, immersed in it? I want to ask about ticks, but I also don't want to know. But yeah, what have you learned from the land?
I feel well, now the tick thing is standing out. So Sam actually had a tick on him that he felt it and he wiped it off and then saw it and then analyzed, okay, yeah, it was no bite.
Yeah.
Mm,
So they take a while to bite.
yeah.
They really want to get the right spot. So that gives you a lot of time to find them. I feel like now that we're here, I feel a little bit differently about that. I mean, maybe not maybe a little bit less scared.
Mm.
Our neighbor said that usually they haven't seen much, maybe more so this year here in this specific location. There maybe are a little bit more this year.
Mm.
So yeah, we've just been doing the prevention things, checking ourselves, checking each other, and I think it feels really manageable. And they mostly are in grasses, not in trees. So we
Yeah.
just notice when we walk in those areas where the grass hasn't been trimmed, then we're really diligent about checking ourselves afterwards, or walk like we want to get back to the field so we can get it all cut and trimmed, manage that better. So yeah, anyway, that's standing out. That's not really what I'm learning, but I just felt like I needed to say that thing about pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels not as scary, and there's always a way to manage it, and just being informed and advised on that. So maybe that's something that I'm learning too. I mean, that's the essence of Hawthorn too, is that thing that bugs you or freaks you out or that you think you need to get rid of. The Hawthorns, they're they serve a purpose, and they're actually like a super good plant. And yeah, it's like, yes, they're really difficult, but they're also really valuable.
Mhm.
And then the last thing that I'll say is we also have been really scared about doing any cutting, any adjustment of the ecosystem, because it's like, oh, we're all about improving it. And I think we were in a very nice way schooled in our thinking, that we get off the hook, like, yeah, we're going to have to cut down some trees to put a road in or to put pathways in or to build something. And overall, with the plan that we're moving towards, someone said, I think you get a pass because of what you're going to be adding to the diversity that you're going to be adding to this ecosystem. In the end, it will actually be better. And yes, you need to, break a few branches along the way.
Yeah, and then to echo that, I think they also kind of taught us about leaning into the wetland ecosystem as well, and that being an experience in itself, and that not everything has to be dry. Because yeah, we are like so afraid of like even a little bit of water, and that was also something that's been like schooled, but yeah, but you don't have to be. Just
This
like
was in the
thinking,
Verge Academy also, by the way.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah, that's context. Yeah, and then I just feel like after spending time here, become more familiar with the land, like just walking down the pathways towards the river, like the pathways that we created. There's just a sense of familiarity now, and hominess, I guess. Yeah, so that's been really nice, and it's just really beautiful to see so much diversity. We found so many different types of animals that like live here, frogs, snakes,
Oh, I love
so
the
many
snakes.
different birds.
Mhm.
So that's what we were really hoping to maintain more of and introduce even more, I guess.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm.
definitely an
Sure.
imbalance of mosquitoes or something, because
Yeah, we might not get to it this summer, but building bat boxes is on our list to help
Yeah.
with.
Yeah. Love bat boxes. There probably would be a like a bat count coming up while you're there.
Hmm.
oh, I
That might
hope so.
be
And
fun to.
bees, I really
Oh,
want
yeah.
more bees around here. It's just yeah, there's always so many flowers, but we don't see so many bees here. Not like in Calgary, when you just have a few flowers and all the bees are fighting over it.
Yeah.
In Ramsey, so
Yeah.
that was also one
Oh,
thing I
there's so many
noticed.
people that have that are beekeeping in our community, but there are more butterflies here
Yes, there
Oh.
are
and
more butterflies.
dragonflies. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I guess the wetland would be pretty ideal for a lot of dragonflies.
Hmm.
That's really cool. Oh, I was gonna ask, what has changed for you? How have you grown in the last little while?
Well, building these containers, and it's very stressful, but yeah, it really allowed me to see what I am capable of learning in such a short amount of time, and it's
Hmm.
just um yeah, really cool to be able to do that,
Wow, that's amazing.
practice that while I'm here. Yeah.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I guess I mean, this place has a lot of meaning for me because I used to come here when my grandparents lived around the corner. And I feel like I assign a certain experience and feeling to being here. And my experience of being here now as an adult for this duration with this type of a project is different than what I thought. So um, it's not as slow as I thought it might feel. It's not as um yeah, it basically it's harder to walk away from the patterns that I've created for myself in my own life and in my own nervous system, and there's an invitation for that in the land, but that's also like something that I need to work on too. So I thought it might be easier to feel more in rhythm, and it's like, oh wow, there's more to work towards there. But I do
Hmm.
feel the invitation and the pull. Yeah.
Hmm. Really interesting. Is there anything else you feel like you would like to share, or a question that hasn't been asked that you wish was? Nice.
Thank you. It's fun to share all those updates.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does it feel that's my last question, I guess. How does it feel to share all of those, to look back, to kind of have a reflective
It's good.
stance?
Yeah, I think it's great just to kind of um yeah, look back and see just how much um we have done and how much this land has grown since we've been here.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Very cool. We'll have to do like a tour of all of the things.
Mhm.
Because we couldn't even get a real tour before because it was so crowded. Like there was just so much stuff. Like you couldn't get it. There was no paths yet.
Yeah.
You couldn't get anywhere. So that's really, really neat. It's going to be very exciting.
Mm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great. Well, then this probably is a good place to leave it for now. So thank you both very much for sharing all of this info. It's so great to get to hear such an like a what's the word? Um, like the story of everything that's coming together. It's pretty cool. So thank you for sharing.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Jess.
Jess.
You're welcome. Till next time.
See you next time.